Vegas at night, let's go. This that vague ringtone. Game in your ear, I flow. Real ones ride for show. Number one show, they know. Click in, strip lit, door swing, I slide. Palms in the glass, neon in my eyes. Hood stories, high stakes, chips on the line. Every scar on my knuckles, every lesson my sign. From the complex lot to the top flow sweet. Turn pain into profit, made the loss look sweet. They respect how I speak, cause I live that scene. Put the desert on wax, made the sand look green. Yeah. This that vague ringtone. Soon as it ring, they know. West side talk, that glow. Vegas at night, let's go. It's that vague ringtone. Game in your ear, I flow. Real ones ride for show. Number one show, they know. Southside scholar with the hustler code. Old heads nodding like I walk that road. Talk rent due, talk kids, talk court dates missed, talk prayer in the car. Talk please, don't snitch. Community love, block built my name. Stay 10 toes when the checks got strange. You can hear my grind when the beat come on. Every ring say rise, every ring say strong. This that vague ringtone.
What's up, everybody out there? Glad to have everybody watching the show. Today we got a special guest. I'm doing an interview with Brittany Hines, and she's going to tell you a story that is going to be amazing and probably some pain and hurt. I spoke with her last week, and listening to the story, I mean, I almost came to tears just listening to what she was telling me. So I'm going to give y'all the opportunity to hear it. And if there's anybody that know any assistance that could help Brittany take a case in this and make things work in her favor, help her out, feel free to contact the show, or you can contact her directly. All right. I'm going to bring Brittany on. Hey, Brittany.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Cool. So, Brittany, you know, how many kids do you have?
I have 9.
You got 9 kids?
Yep.
Can you give me their names and age?
My oldest is Shabri, she's 17. I have a son that's 14 named Jaden. Daughter Zamia, she's 13. Another son, he is 11. Another daughter, she is 11. A daughter that's 7, named Kaylani. I said it all wrong. Messiah 6, Macau 6, and Zalia 9. Zalia is the one that passed.
Okay. So having a lot of kids, you may show that this name and this breed of person, which is yourself, that name gonna spread long term.
Yes.
And I think that's the way to go. Keep the generation strong. It's kind of sad that you lost, what's her name, Cabrera?
Zalia.
Zalia?
Yes.
Yeah, that's quite scary, you know. You got so many kids and you've been raising them. It's like you know what you're doing because you got, you know, and then this happens. So kind of tell us what happened and how did she pass away?
Okay, so basically, I'm gonna start one day. My daughter had woke up and her gums was like so swollen, purple, green. I was scared to take her to the hospital because I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I finally took her to UMC. UMC, they didn't have no solution for me. So they just gave her some medication. It was some nurses, I guess, that they had there look at her mouth. Basically, her gums were so swollen and they couldn't really do anything. So they discharged us. So the next day, it's like I'm lost because her gums is like very swollen and she was crying. So the next day I had called Absolute Dental and I spoke with the supervisor and I like explained everything, how swollen her gums is. And I'm like, can you please put my daughter in for today to be seen? So she was like, give me a little bit and I'm gonna give you a call back. So she called me back within 10 minutes and was like, I have an appointment for your daughter to come in. So at that point, my other daughter needs to be seen too. So she made us and made space for both of them to come in. So I took them in. I want to say the 11th or the 10th. I had took them to the dentist. So the dentist couldn't do anything. They gave her some antibiotics and everything. Referred us to the surgery center. So they had gave us antibiotics and mouthwash. Sent us home. By the time I picked up her medication from the pharmacy and made it home, I got a call from the surgery center. And the surgery center, her appointment was August 14th of 2024. So, mind you, both of my daughters was had to get surgery. So, approximately, their surgery will last no more than 45 minutes. So, Zalia went back first, and then my second daughter went back. So my second daughter came back within the hour. Zalia, I'm just asking all the nurses like, what's taking so long? Because y'all told me it was going to be 45 minutes, had go an hour, then an hour, 20 minutes passed. We almost at 2 hours. Like, what's going on? So I'm keep asking them. And then finally, after I want to say 2 hours and 30 minutes, the lady had finally came up in the room and talked to me, was like, this is the worst case that she ever dealt with in her 26 years of doing dentist, working on kids. And they said she bled for the whole time. She wouldn't stop bleeding. They couldn't get the bleeding to stop. So once she came up in the recovery room and everything, her mouth was still bleeding. Um, her vitals was good, and they sent us home. But they had gave me a number just in case if
They sent
like,
you home
yes, they
and her
sent
mouth
me
was
home.
bleeding?
Yes, they sent me home because her vitals was normal. So I want to say within six, when we made it, about the time we made it home, her mouth was full of blood. So we was like using, I want to say maybe like 6 to 8 gauze within minutes, back to back, back to back. So you know, like the doggy pads or the bed pads that people be using.
Yeah.
So I had her to lay up on the couch downstairs, and I put the pad up on her mouth and everything, and I put the gauze up in her mouth and was like, okay, keep an eye on her because like I was exhausted. So my auntie was watching her downstairs, and my kids had came upstairs and was like, Mom, there's blood everywhere. Went downstairs, the whole pad full of blood. I called the surgery center. Mind you, I called the ambulance too. Was like, it's an emergency. Can you come get my daughter? So I'm calling the surgery center, like basically telling them what's going on. And then basically they didn't have no solution. They was like, call the ambulance. I'm like, I already called the ambulance. So about time we made it to the ambulance. They still trying to get the bleeding to stop. At that point, they had to run tests, and basically, when they drew her blood, they said her blood came out like water. So that's when they knew it was something wrong. Um, so we just sitting there waiting. Time went
So
by.
let me
Hours.
let me go back for 1 second. So both of your daughters was in there for the same thing?
No,
Okay. All right, go
no.
ahead.
One of them had swollen gums. The other one just had dental issues.
Okay.
Um, so once we wait on the results.
And
So
so
I
where
want to
you
say,
actually was at when y'all was in the hospital?
say it again.
What hospital was you in?
We had went back to UMC.
Okay.
So UMC had ran tests and everything. So I want to say maybe like 2 hours later, maybe 3 hours later, they came back in. Like all the nurses came up in there rushing, was like, I don't know if you know about leukemia. It's like a form cancer. I'm like, I'm still like sleep because I'm like, I never heard that before. So it didn't like down like, well, I heard about it, but I never knew nobody that actually had leukemia. So it's like, okay, well, hey, let's go treat it. Let's go give her some medicine or something. So once they told me that she had leukemia, and then they said we couldn't leave the hospital. We have to wait to get transported to Summerlin Hospital. I'm like, we can drive there. So at that point, they said we couldn't drive due to what if something happened if we hit a bump and she started bleeding out and this and that. I'm like, well, we drove here. What's the problem? So I want to say maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, the ambulance finally came and got us to transport us to Summerlin Hospital. So Summerlin Hospital, we made it there. I think they got us all checked in about like 5 something 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
And mind you, this is the 14th.
Uh,
So
turn me up in the phones real quick.
the oncology, I want to say she had about like 5 or 6 oncology doctors. Basically they had sat down and talked to me, basically telling me like the plan and everything. So like mind you, I didn't know what all this was. So like I was telling them like I'm gonna ask you guys questions because I want to know basically what is all this medication that y'all giving her. So they said she in the beginning stage of her cancer. So that was a good thing, but they have to run more tests to find out what kind of leukemia she had. So before they started the chemo, we have to find out what kind of leukemia she had in order for them to give her the proper basically the treatment. So I want to say maybe the next day, they have the results back on what kind of leukemia she had. She had AML, which is the worst cancer. So at that point, they started her on chemo and everything. So at that point, like the research people, they come in and offer like the medication that they want to give and everything. So we was part of a research thing. Like if she can, instead of her getting the chemo through her port, she can take the chemo as a pill. So let me see.
So the
It's a lot.
process of all that time had took place in how many days or months or hours? How long did, what was the process?
What you mean the process? Like
Like
when?
from the start to finish, when you first took it to hospital, was there like by the time y'all got to Summerlin and all that, was all that in the same day?
Yes, because we left the UMC. Um, Actually, it was the 15th. We had left UMC. I want to say like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, something like that, and we got transported to Summerlin Hospital. So, with that being said, so once she started her treatment, like mind you, her body was kept rejecting it, like she'd throw up and everything. Some days she wouldn't get up out the bed, but she was a happy kid and everything. So the concerning part is like I'm gonna have to like skip some of it. Mind you, my daughter was up in the
No, you
hospital.
don't have to. I mean, unless you want to,
No,
but
I don't. Okay, okay. So
take your time.
I'm trying to put it together. So mind you, every day the oncology doctor come in. So they ran tests on and everything to see like what her blast was, like her white count. Her white count I believe was at a 12 and everything, like she was getting platelets, blood here and there because her nose would just bleed. Um the oncology doctor like came and told me like how many cycles of chemo she'll have, what is her reaction. So like basically they automatically any cancer patient, they offer them two cycles of chemo. And once that 2 cycles of chemo, but each round they check the bone marrow to see how much white count like went down. So oh, it's just so much. So the whole
So
time that we was up in the hospital, mind you, she up on this high chemo, like she'll leave up out the room, but she'll have a face mask on and everything. But they wasn't running tests like they was supposed to. She had a couple situations up in the room, and I tell the nurses like something wrong with my daughter. So one time, I kept telling them like, can they keep an eye up on her? Like, which I was right there. I'm not I'm not certified for all this stuff. So she had to use the bathroom one time. And I'm telling the nurses, like, can y'all stand right here like something wrong? And the more I tell the doctors and nurses, like, can they help me like with my daughter? Like, it was always a problem. So one time, I want to say maybe she was up on her first round of her chemo. She was in the bathroom, and she wouldn't leave up out the bathroom for nothing. I'm like, come on, come up out the bathroom. She kept saying she had to use the bathroom. So she kept getting up on the toilet and then standing up. So one time, like, I'm telling them, like, something wrong. Like, can you come up in this bathroom with us? So we finally got her off the
So what
toilet.
was happening when you were saying what was something was wrong? Like what was she?
Like, it was, you can see it up in her face, like something wasn't right. So
Okay.
I'm telling them, like, stay right there. So it was almost time for her shower. So it was a little sitting area up in the bathroom. So she like fell into that, and then like I want to say like she had tensed up, like her whole body locked up, and then like her head, like her eyes went behind her head. I'm like, can y'all help? Do something. So a couple more doctors came up in there to see what was going on. They put her up on the monitor and everything. So I'm like, what was the cause of her doing that? They didn't have no story to tell me like what was the cause of it. But mind you, she up on strong chemo. So let me see. Throughout the whole stay, she was there a day before her 5th month mark, before she passed. Throughout the months, everything was okay. She was taking her chemo and everything. She had to get the port. She had went to California to do her get tested for her bone marrow.
So the process from her leaving from Las Vegas to going to California was like what was the time frame?
The time frame, we was only there for a day. We drove there.
I mean, like, so you was there for a day, but how long did it take before you went to California?
It took 2 months.
Okay.
2 months. So 2 months it took us. We was up in the hospital the whole time. So
Is that
once
right?
we went, huh?
But
Say it again.
all those days? So how many days was she actually in the hospital?
My daughter was in the hospital for 4 months.
Straight.
Um, yeah. So
And you was there
once
by
we
her
went to
side.
yeah, so once we went to California and everything, um, wait, I'm gonna take that back. She was in the hospital 2 months straight. 2 months straight, 2.5 months straight. Um, they had to test all my kids and her dad to see who would be a match for her bone marrow. So her dad and three of my kids was a match. So the dad stayed in California, so he was already there. By the time we made it there, three of my kids had to get the bone marrow assessment for her treatment that she needs. So after they did all that, we left. So once we left, we called the hospital and was like, "We back in Vegas." So at that time, they said we can go home. We're gonna go to outpatient oncology. So basically, she'll go to the doctor 2 or 3 days out the week. She'll get her chemo. She'll get fluids. They'll check her bone marrow and everything. So she was at home with me for a month. I had to give her chemo medicine because at that time she was getting the pills because she was at home. Um, I know I'm missing a lot of stuff.
Just take your time. I know it's a little
Um,
difficult,
it
you
is because
know,
it's
and it's
definitely a
not
lot.
just like talking to somebody on the phone, like you would call and you would tell somebody a situation that would happen, but definitely you getting it out. And
Yeah.
I know it's more in there because when I talked to you the other night, there was some other things that I'm just kind of waiting to hear you say.
Let me see. Yeah. So I'm gonna go back from California.
Okay.
So with the oncology doctors, they talked to me basically telling me what the plan is. what schedule they're gonna have because it was like 5 or 6 oncology doctors that came and seen her like one week. It'd be the same oncology doctor for the same week and everything. So like every time when I had an issue that went on with my daughter, the nurses wouldn't listen until I raised my voice to yell at them. Um, I asked them, "Can I see the doctor?" Their law said the doctor is not there. So when the doctor was telling me like basically what's the plan and everything, like I gave them a hard time because I want to know like basically is my daughter gonna die? Like don't lie to me, don't sugarcoat anything. So I kept asking them the same questions, like basically in a different format. So all the doctors that was coming to see me, talking to me about my daughter, I kept asking them the same question. We would talk for like an hour, and I'm be like, "Let me know this, let me know that." So they keep telling me like everything's good. She taking the medication very well, and everything. So out of all them, after 2.5 months that she was inside the hospital, it was up and down because she had stopped breathing like twice. Before she went to the ICU. Um, and I told them like something wrong with her. Like I said, that never listen to me, that never come up in the room until I get to yelling. So,
So we're gonna come right back.
so
We're gonna
we
we're gonna come right back in a second.
okay.
I'm talking live with Brittany Hines about losing
Welcome to
her
Vegas,
7-year-old
baby.
baby. We're about to come right back in a few seconds.
Heard a whisper,
For everybody that's
now it's
watching,
headlines. They call him an
appreciate you
ambassador
having here. Make
out
sure
on
you
the
hit click,
strip. Every secret
subscribe,
in the
hit like.
city sitting on his hip. Fake talk floating that pretend myth. He just raised.
Click that subscribe, hit like and share, and we're gonna get right back with Brittany. All right, Brittany, you got it together? Can you hear me, Brittany?
Oh, like basically, I can't remember everything, but the more I talk, I'm gonna start remembering things. So like, it
That's
might
normal.
be somewhat off because I'm trying to remember the things. So I was giving the doctors a problem because I want to know it's my daughter. So mind you, the whole time she was in the hospital, I never left her side. And if I did leave her side, it'd be for like a few hours, and someone was always there with her. So once we make it back from California and everything, she was at home for a month. So okay, so she got released from the hospital. I want to say October 12th or 11th for us to go to California. We think we have to hurry up and go to California and come right back. So we went to California, did everything, and came right back. And we called the hospital and told them basically that we was done. We did all the blood tests. So they was like, since basically we is outpatient as of now. So the whole month she was at home, I had to learn how to do her port and everything, make sure she take her medicine on time. And if anything happened, it's an emergency number that I can call just in case if it's an emergency. So all the emergencies that I had called about was a nosebleed. She had real bad nosebleeds. Like when her nosebleed, that means her platelets is low. She need blood. So with that being said, so like I tell them, and then they'll tell us to go to the hospital. Basically, she's still outpatient, so she'll go to the hospital and get like their run the test to see how far her how low her blood is and everything. And most of the time she needed probably like 2 or 3 things of blood to stop the bleeding. Um, so It was her appointment at the outpatient doctor to get her for them to check her bone marrow. They had put her to sleep and everything to check to see how many white cells in her bones. So basically, she did that. We gotta wait probably like 2 or 3 days for the results to come back. So her numbers wasn't there. So at that point, they gave her some kind of shots. I forgot what it is to boost up her immune system for her numbers to start going up. So it was from like once a day, and then I want to say 2 weeks after she had to go back to get a bone marrow test. Her numbers wasn't there. So at that point, it was 2 times a day, and then I noticed when I was giving her the shots that she was limping. Mind you, my daughter never say that she up in pain. I wouldn't know that she was up in pain only if I look at her face. So like she'd be limping, and then I asked the doctor like why is she limping and everything. They said it could be from the shots. And then I'm like, okay, well I wasn't aware of that before you guys even told me to give her this shot. So at this point, what was it?
So the shot, so by they giving you what she needs to take a shot with, you was giving her the shot, and the
Yes,
shot was doing.
yes. Her numbers wasn't really going up, but once we started twice a day, then that's when her numbers started going to where they needed it to be. So at that point, when she went for her last bone marrow so they can check, her numbers still wasn't good. I was hoping that with this bone marrow that they was going to take that she can go straight to California to get her treatment, which that wasn't the case. Her numbers wasn't good. So at that point, she had to get back admitted into the hospital, which is December 14th. They admitted her back. She had to do her third cycle of chemo. My phone's gonna go dead. So she started her third cycle of chemo. So before they even started her third cycle of chemo, they had to run tests to make sure she didn't catch no infections the whole time she was in my care, which everything came back good. Um, they told me this cycle of chemo is like real strong. Like most kids don't make it. Most kids start getting like ulcers or something up in their you said what? They'll start getting ulcers up in they do it. They'll start getting ulcers up in their mouth and everything. But mind you, I didn't know about that until give me 1 second. I didn't notice that until my daughter just started acting weird. Like if her neck was hurting. Mind you, my daughter, the nurses all knew my daughter. She stayed up out the room and everything. She'd never be up in the room. She a fun kid. So at this time she was having a neck issues and I told them, I'm like, what can y'all do about her neck? It's not like I can pop her neck because she's so skinny, like she fragile. So they said we're gonna reach out to physical therapy and everything, which they reached out to physical therapy. Physical therapy really didn't do anything because her neck was still stuck. So at this point, they still came, talked to me, basically saying everything is good. Um, they write down the medication that she take every day. Like she was taking about like at least 7 or 8 medicines a day. Um,
At what age?
my daughter was only 7 at the time.
Wow.
So, like I said, she was in the beginning stage. They said, really, I didn't have nothing to worry about because they caught it up in the beginning stage. Um, so it was almost time for Christmas. Um, we getting ready for Christmas. Mind you, the story was told that we was gonna be home for Christmas. So like all my daughter toys is at home and everything. So come to find out we have to stay up in the hospital. So I had to decorate her room for Christmas. Um and everything. So the room that we was in, it was very small. So like it was a kid had left, and I asked them, "Can I get the room back?" So they finally moved me to the room. So I set the room up and everything.
So you set the room
Christmas,
up at the hospital.
yeah, I set the room up for Christmas and everything. She had her Christmas dress on and everything. Her siblings was there. We was having fun and everything. What happened? So,
Y'all had Christmas in there. Y'all had fun.
uh,
You had the kids in there.
yeah, they was all playing. Mind you, every time my daughter went up out the room, she had her face mask on because at that point she didn't have no immune system. So I didn't want her catching anything. So we finally got our room and everything. Santa Claus came, kids playing, she playing. So I don't get that much sleep at the hospital because every time when the nurse come in, I want to know like what are y'all giving her? What are y'all doing? So like I'd be up and down trying to see like what is they doing because like I said, I don't trust hospitals. Um, so at this time, Christmas basically into the 26th, my daughter spiked a high fever, which wouldn't go down. Mind you, I was asleep. I was drained. So about time I actually found out like what was going on because the nurse didn't tap me or anything. I used to sleep in the bed with my daughter until she put me out. Sometimes she'll put me up out the bed with her. Other than that, I sleep in the bed with her. So I didn't even send you the pictures of um basically all the pictures I had took of her. Um so basically the high fever was there. They said they've been giving her Motrin throughout the night, Tylenol and everything. So they was giving it to her through mouth, and then they said they started giving it to her through the IV, and her fever still wouldn't go down. So mind you, when we came back to the hospital, they said from her being up on the it's the extreme dose of the chemo, the third cycle of chemo. It's real strong. So they was gonna keep doing tests up on her and everything, which the whole time they didn't do no test up on her or anything. Only test that they did up on her was when we got admitted back to the hospital and everything. She didn't have anything. So at that point, this 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 part that I'm finna get to is gonna be the hard part. So once I was aware that the fever wouldn't go down, so they didn't have no alcohol. I'm like, give me a whole box of the alcohol pads. So I'm using the alcohol pads. I'm through the box. I'm like, so what's going on? What's her temperature? So her temperature still wouldn't go down. So mind you, usually my daughter talk mess to me and everything. So at this point, I'm just looking at her like something wrong with my daughter. Like then tears just start coming out her eyes. So
I lost your signal.
yeah,
I'm not
give me
able to
one
hear you.
second. It's just hard to say that part. So
I
at
think
that
you.
point that she couldn't really breathe. It was like she didn't have no way of telling me. But I'm looking up in her eyes, and then like her stomach and stuff start caving in, like something wrong with her. And the nurse, she put some kind of thing up on her hand to basically like keep track of her oxygen level and everything. So she told me pay attention to a number which wasn't even her oxygen level. So I'm like study trying to talk to my daughter. She just looking like tears coming out her eyes. So I'm like telling the lady like something wrong with my daughter. She was like, "Oh, she's just fine." Okay, went back to her. I'm like, "No, something definitely ain't right." Um, at that point, I started tripping with them. I'm like, something wrong with my daughter. Y'all need to do something. something wrong with my daughter. Where's the doctor at? So the nurse that was up in the room, that came up in the room, she just came to the door. She was like, the doctor downstairs doing his rounds, which the doctor was right there. The doctor heard me also when I said I needed the doctor. So I'm like, okay. Went to go check on my daughter again. At this point, like more tears coming out her eyes. So I just started like tripping up on everybody. I'm like, if y'all don't get up in here and come check my daughter because something wrong, this not her. So once I got their attention, the lady came in and was like, "Oh, is this right?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? Because you telling me to look at this number and this number is just fine." She was like, "No, this is the number right here." So she had went to go get a whole new thing and put up on her hand to check her oxygen level. So once she did that and noticed that her oxygen level was just dropping, 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 and at that point, she started yelling, and the whole room got full with doctors. So at that point, they put her on oxygen. They did what you call a gas test. They had imaging to come and run some tests up on her. Is it a way I can send some pictures to you so you can see like the imaging or stuff?
Uh, do
If
you
not,
don't
it's
have them
okay.
where you could just hold them up, huh? Where you can show them on the
Um,
camera?
Let me see.
What? Well, you could try to send it, but it'll be tough to do it before the show started. I could have did it before the show
Okay,
started.
it's okay then. Okay, so once they did the imaging and everything, so like of her chest. So at that point, the whole chest, like the X-ray, it was like cloudy, showing like something was wrong. So they did the gas test. The gas test was abnormal. So at this point, they had told us like basically something going on with her. She have to go to ICU, which I didn't want to do that because we fought for that room. I'm like, y'all should have been up on everything. So at that point, the oxygen wasn't working. Then they have to put the CPAP over her nose.
Oh yeah, you could text me text it to me. Text me the
Oh,
pictures.
this shit.
We'll take a break and
Okay.
come right back. We'll be coming right back with Brittany, and she's gonna tell y'all how she lost her kid inside the hospital, and due to medical issues, medical attendance, and things like that. So I do this. This is community all through the world, right here in Las Vegas. We like to call it the Vague. I know a lot of people don't really understand that yet, but we live here and we've been calling it the Vague for quite some time. There's a lot of people that's a little slow. They may not know about it because they haven't picked up on it yet, but it'll hit them. It'll hit them.
There's one brow like who said this. Real ones land and they tap in quick. Touchdown, first stop where Mike Elliott. If it move in the desert, he done seen that flip. Got his hands in the mix, fingertip by fingertip. Ambassador of Las Vegas. Say his name when you touch down. If you're scared of the truth, stay nameless. He the one running this town. Give him love while he breathing. Say it out loud. Better respect the respect before he ain't around. Mysterious rumors, all that fake talk weak. Scared of the real, so they barely even speak. Heard they play tough online all week, but in person they quiet when they meet that seat. When you come to this city, you gon' check in. From the D to Brazil, they all steppin'. Piece of the action, they slided on the table, cause he made half these stories, even cable. Ready, sweet voice in my head say, go girl talk. Raspy in my chest say, nah, tear the roof off. You in Vegas now, baby, mask off, deal cut. If you mention this town, better bring his name up. Ambassador of Las Vegas. Say his name when you touch down. If you're scared of the truth, stay nameless. He the one running this town. Give him love while he breathing, yeah, say it out loud. Better respect the respect before he ain't around.
right, we back on the Vague Show with Brittany Hines, and we talking about her losing her loved one, her beautiful baby. Brittany, are you there? I lost you, Brittany. Where you at?
Oh, I'm here. I'm sending
Okay.
her pictures. But
I can't see your photo. I can't see your. I can't see you.
yeah, I'm
But
give me 1 second.
go ahead and talk though.
Okay, so with that being said, the picture that I just sent you is basically the x-ray of her chest, which they told me I couldn't take a picture of because due to the HIPAA law and everything. So once them tests got through and everything, they had the ICU doctor come assess her and everything. Um, so it was time for us to go to the go downstairs to ICU. And once we made it there, um, let me see, how do I put it back? Okay. Once we made it back to the ICU,
I'm gonna bring that picture up right now.
okay,
Okay.
okay, that was the X-ray of her chest. And the other picture is basically when they put the CPAP on her. That was before she went to the ICU.
Hmm.
So once we made it to the ICU, they said her oxygen level was just fine. So at that point, so I'm like, okay, well, if her oxygen level is fine, y'all got it stable. Can I like go change my clothes, take a shower? So I had to use a room and everything. So they finally found me a room. I went to the room, take a shower, came back. They still told me she was doing good and everything. So um, I want to say we was. You can help. Once I made it back up in the room, they kept saying everything was good and everything. So
Turn your camera back on.
my camera on.
I can't see. Okay, I see.
Okay. So about time.
You went back out.
I don't know. Can you see me now?
Yes. All right.
Oh, okay, so basically, once we made it to the ICU, basically they said we couldn't take anything, so all the toys and stuff had to go home. Mind you, she didn't get to play with her toys from Christmas. At that point, it was at the fact that it was just very concerning to me because I watched my mom pass and everything. So like I didn't want to say too much, but I know like when you make your last bowel movement, like it'd be like that. So like my daughter at this point, she was just using the bathroom on herself, and what was crazy to me is she was scared for me to help her get up on a potty next to her bed. So at that point, we put pull ups on her and everything. So after that, they kept saying her. After that, then they said something going wrong. Her heart rate going down again. So at that point, they had to put the tube down her throat. So we have to get up out the room. So with that being said, have to go up in the waiting room. But before then, they didn't have all the proper tools and everything for when a person flatlined. So they was running through the hospital trying to get all the stuff. So I want to say it wasn't even minute, a good minute. We went up in a waiting room. Cold Blue was called to my daughter room.
Oh wow.
So mind you, I don't know nothing about colds. I just know it was a cold and it was my daughter room. So I'm trying to run to the room. They talking about security.
Yeah, we lost her for a second, but she'll be right back. You there? We're here with Brittany Hines, and she's about to tell you about how she lost her daughter in the hospital. You still there, Brittany? I can't hear you. Well, while we're waiting on Brittany to get her mic situated, we'll play a little something right out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Seen a black smile, seen a blood bleed. Same street, same store, whole different need. I know people on the block getting their money, paper in their hands, but they souls feel ugly. On that same curve, somebody nodding on slow, eyes glassed over like they let the pain grow. I see moms crying in back by the alley, son running plays like he's stuck in the rally. Whole hood hurting, but he laughed through the ache, trying to fill a hole that the bag never takes. It's like that one song in the world we all singing, trying to heal fast, pain so deep, still we bring it. It's like that, stay away, move forward, don't look back. Yeah, you change when you're ready, that's the fact, but it's like that. I know people getting strung out, losing their mind, pop whatever pill just to step out of time. Say they wanna stop, then they call it one more. Chase that same high till they drop on the floor. Some really hurting, some low-key love the thrill. Swear they in control while it's breaking down they will. We all care, watching like bro, just breathe. But you can't save someone who don't wanna leave. Be for real, look in the mirror, that's you. You the only one can tell yourself what to do. World so cold, gotta guard your heart. Step off that corner, give your life new start. Don't let nothing hold you back.
All right. We back. Brittany, can I hear your mic now? I'm not sure what happened, but I'm not able to hear you anymore. You want to log out and log back in?
Like that one song in the world we all sing it, trying to heal fast, pain so deep, still we bring it. It's
Okay,
like
can you hear me
that.
now?
Stay away,
Yes, I
move
can.
forward, don't look back.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
you change when you're ready, that's the fact, but it's like that.
basically, I'm at the part where, like, basically she fully sedated, with the tube down her throat. It was a bunch of doctors basically talking to me, basically telling me, like, her oncology doctor was telling me at the last minute. But what was so concerning to me, this ICU supervisor, she kept trying to get me by myself to pull the plug up on my daughter. So my thing is, it was very crazy to me because she worked in this field. She dealt with this before so many times, but for her to pull me to a room, crying, telling me to pull the plug up on my daughter, I told her I'm not pulling the plug up on my daughter. My daughter have to give me, like, basically a sign that she was tired. So I just feel like the ICU doctor did this intentionally. So after she got her little second little surgery thing for them to suck the stuff up out of her chest for her airway, I felt kind of better because the lady told me today is the day we're gonna wake your daughter up. So I'm feeling good. I went downstairs to go get me something to eat because it's time to wake my daughter up. So I'm on the phone with my stepmom talking, telling my stepmom was listening to the doctor too. I'm up on the phone with her, and then next thing you know, the doctor came in looking at the machine, then started looking at my daughter. So I'm like, okay, it's almost time to wake her up. She was like, yes. I'm like, okay. So I'm happy at this point because I'm like, it's time to wake my baby up. So I started going to the edge of her bed, rubbing her feet, like, okay, it's time to wake up, Buka. So at this point, as I'm rubbing her feet, like it's time to wake up, and then I'm telling my stepmom, I'm like, hold on. And then the doctor, she just started pushing on my daughter's chest, and then they called another cold blue. So I'm like, you took her off this machine for what if you knew everything wasn't good? What was the whole point of you taking her off the machine if you told me you guys gonna wake her up? Not for her to flatline the second time. So at this point, once she turned that machine off, it wasn't even a good 20 minutes, not even a good 5 minutes. Once she turned the machine off, one of the machines off, she started punching on my daughter's chest. And then they call Cold Blue. They run it through the hospital again because they don't have all the proper tools to help her when a person
So
go up in
when they
cardiac.
ran Cold Blue, a bunch of people ran in there and got to jumping up on her and things like that. Is that what happened?
Yes, but they didn't have all the tools to deal with her because the push cart that they had, they was missing some of the stuff that they needed. I forgot what it was called. I got everything wrote down, but they didn't have all the tools to deal with her. So this time when she flatlined, due to the supervisor wanted to pull the turn the machine off to wake her up, which she knew that my daughter wasn't strong enough. I feel she did that due to the fact is that I didn't want to pull the plug on my daughter. So at that point, once she flatlined, all them was up in there. I want to say maybe they didn't get no heart rate for a good 15. No, the first time was 30 minutes.
Yeah, and then the next time was another 15 to 20.
Yeah, the second time it was 15 minutes that they was trying to get a heart rate from her. So at this time, mind you, I stayed at the hospital with my daughter the whole time. But once all this happened up in the ICU, I was scared to stay at the hospital with my daughter due to her eyes like popping out, like her eyes was like out and then like just opening. It was just scary. And then I don't want to share that photo when she was at the ICU because it's very, very not good. And then she had some kind of, I might can share this photo. She had some kind of purple stuff all on her chest. Some kind of purple stuff all on her chest. Let me see which one will be presentable for her. I mean, to post.
Bruises from them pumping on.
Okay, well, it was just bruises from them pumping on her. I might can do this one. Okay, but is that no? Huh? Not okay. But her chest just changed color due to them pumping on her. So at that time, when she flatlined the second time, like I knew it was like basically the end. But again, I didn't want to pull the plug on her just yet until she gave me a sign. So the same night when she flatlined the second time, um, it was her favorite doctor, Dr. Raul. He pulled me up in the room with my stepmom, them, and everything, basically saying that she was off the candidate list. Even if she do happen to get up out of this, she can't get her bone marrow transplant due to her flatlining twice, which I find that's very crazy because they was the cause of her flatlining twice. If they was doing their job and coming when I told them something was wrong, they was doing a test like they said they was gonna do, then maybe this wouldn't even happen. So they said she was fighting off some kind of virus. They didn't know what was the virus at the time. So finally found out she had the rhinovirus and pneumonia. So from her having both of them, she didn't have no immune system to fight it off. So the 13th, I stayed a night at the hospital. I want to say maybe like, what time was that? Like 5 or 6 in the morning. The ICU doctor had woke us up and was like, basically, her heart is giving them a bad rhythm. So at that point, I called family members for them to come say their last goodbyes to my daughter and everything. So with that being said, I asked the ICU doctor, can you guys give her some medication? So like when they pull the plug, she won't like gasp for air like her last breath. So she gave him the medicine, and then once everybody seen her and everything, like we turned the machine off, and then within a few seconds, she was pronounced deceased. January 13th, 2024.
And you feel deeply in your heart that that was due to the attention that
Medical
the medicals were
malpractice.
supposed to do. So I want to say I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I do know a lot of people that's been to UMC that people had to wind up going out of town in order
But this
to get something
this
fixed.
was
And, well, I'm just saying about the doctors here in Las Vegas. It's like it has really nothing to do with you. It's just there's not a lot of good doctors out there right now. And for like the young kids
uh-huh,
that's really brilliant and think well, they should go out and become to be a doctor because this would be a great place to start because there's no good doctors here. They just get you in and get you out. Um, my uncle passed in well, he was in UMC and then they wanted to send him to another place, but it all started there.
uh-huh,
And he wound up passing at UMC. So it was after he left and came back, and this just was recently. So um, I just say Las Vegas don't have a really good hospital system. So I
uh-huh,
would encourage people to find places out of state and until they prove different. And I know for Brittany, the situation that she went through and what she's endured um, through the pain and everything that with her daughter and just being there watching that, I know it had to be tough. And I know life right now is not as easy as it was before she had her daughter. You know, the struggling that she had to go through, what she had to watch, everything she had to be involved in. If there's anybody out there that would like to assist Brittany, Brittany, you could give them your email address and uh, see if anybody would respond to you.
yeah. And
You, you want to give
so
your email
basically,
address?
yeah, it's GMomma 702 at gmail.com. Um, what was I finished today? So basically, they was giving her medication and wasn't really treating her for the actual thing that was wrong with her. She had infection in her blood and they wasn't treating that.
And you have all the
So
documents.
Yes, the cause of death was septic shock, pneumonia, and a rhinovirus.
Man,
I have all the documents from UMC, um, Absolute Dental on down to the surgery center. I feel it's really started from the surgery center because the lady that did the surgery on my daughter, she was sending me money out of nowhere. She would just kept sending me money. Like, what is all this for? Like, you know something I don't know. But through it all, I just feel like I can't get no sleep until I know for sure I get down to the bottom of it because I was there every step of the way. I know that they missed something and caused my daughter to pass.
because they wasn't on their job and they wasn't being professional about
No.
everything that they did is what you seen.
Yep. Every time I tell them, they don't move unless I yell at them. It been
So
several
you had to be
times.
aggressive in order to let
Yes,
them look after and do the,
yes.
the
It
correct thing,
was
what they should have been
several.
doing.
Yes, it was several occasions when something happened to my daughter, and I'm trying to get their attention. It's just like they just brushing me off until I really trip with them. But what's really crazy to me is the ICU doctor crying to me, telling me to pull the plug on my daughter.
Yeah, that's not easy.
Yeah. So I know I missed some stuff, but um,
You know,
it was
we
just a
could
lot.
actually come back and do a part two because I know you're not complete with it.
Yes.
And that's up to you if you want to come back and do a part two because I spoke to you last week and I kind of heard so much. I know the pain was on you deep. So right now we're gonna close the show out, and if there's anything you want to say before we close out, but we could also come back and do a part two.
Yes, we can do a part two. I
Okay.
have the documents in handy for part two.
All right. So y'all make sure y'all follow us. Make sure y'all click subscribe, hit like, hit that notification bell. So every time I go live, it'll just pop up on your channel. And when we do Brittany again next week, we'll do part two and you'll hear the rest of the story about how she lost her daughter at the hospital due to medical attendance. So Brittany, is there anything you want to say?
No, that's it. I just
That's
want
it?
my baby to be heard and I get some help.
All right. Y'all heard that, make sure y'all reach out. And she gave you the email address. We're going to give it to you one more time. It's gmama702@gmail.com. All right. Thanks for
Okay.
tuning in to the show. And we'll definitely see y'all in about 2 or 3 days on the next show. We got a lot of different shows coming up. We also have some sport guys that very legendary here in the town in Las Vegas that are going to be uh, interviewed, and it's going to be great. So just wait, wait, and wait, and we'll get back with y'all. Have a good one.